Almost everyone can relate to the joy and, yeah, sometimes the sheer frustration of living with a pet.
Oh, absolutely.
So for this deep dive, we're really getting into the ultimate pet training guide. Our mission, to pull out the absolute best bits, the key insights, the practical advice you can actually use to make life with your animal companion, whatever kind they are, just better, happier, more harmonious. And look, this goes way beyond just sit and stay. We're talking about genuine communication, building that bond, whether you've got a tiny puppy or kitten, or maybe a mature rescue.
And that's such a key point the guide makes right away. It frames training not as something you do to your pet, but something you do with them. It's building a common language almost.
I like that.
A common language.
Yeah. And that's why that initial section in the guide, the one on why training is so important, it's really the bedrock for everything else. Okay, let's dig into that bedrock then. The guide lays out some really strong reasons for putting in that training effort. The first one that really stood out to me was communication. Better communication.
Exactly. Every time your pet understands a cue or you understand their signal, that communication channel gets a little clearer.
It's like opening a little window between you.
Precisely. And think about safety. A dog that comes when called isn't just obeying, they're understanding you need them back, maybe away from danger. The guide really stresses how clear communication equals a safer world for them.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And it's not just like avoiding big dangers, it's preventative for everyday stuff too, right? The guide talks about behavior issues.
Definitely. Things like chewing things they shouldn't or barking nonstop. Often that comes from confusion or anxiety, which better communication through training can really help address. You're setting clear expectations they can understand.
You're teaching them the house rules, basically.
In a way they can grasp, yes. And emotionally, all those little training moments, those successes, they directly build that bond, that focused time together. It builds incredible trust.
Which is, let's face it, a huge reason we have pets in the first place, that connection.
Absolutely. It's a massive part of it.
The guide also mentions socialization, how a trained pet is usually more comfortable out in the world.
Right. They tend to handle new situations, new people, other animals with a lot more confidence and less stress. Which leads us to the next big question the guide tackles.
How do we actually do it effectively?
Exactly. Understanding how pets learn. Pet psychology, essentially. That's the key.
Okay, this part I found fascinating. The guide really champions positive reinforcement. Using rewards, treats, praise, toys for the behaviors you want.
It's incredibly effective. And the science backs it up. Focusing on rewarding the good stuff not only shapes behavior better, but also builds a much healthier, more trusting relationship. It's intuitive. Really, are you more likely to repeat something if you get praised or if you get yelled at?
Good point. And the guide is almost relentless about consistency. Why is that so vital?
Imagine trying to learn a game where the rules keep changing. It's impossible.
Yeah, total confusion.
It's the same for pets. If sit gets a treat sometimes but not others, or if different people use different words or signals, it just muddies the water. Clarity, predictability. Those are your best friends in training.
And timing. The guide mentions the timing of the reward being critical, like right away.
Instantly. That immediate reward basically puts a big mental check mark next to the exact behavior that earned it. Delay it even by a few seconds.
And they might think the reward was for sniffing the carpet or looking out the window.
Precisely. They associate the reward with whatever they're doing at that moment. So timing is everything for clear association.
It boils down to them learning through association then. Action equals consequence. Not about good or bad in our human sense.
Exactly. They're thinking, did this action get me something good or something neutral or something unpleasant? Understanding that basic cause and effect learning is fundamental to fair and effective training.
Okay, so with those principles, positive reinforcement, consistency, timing, association, the guide then explores the different kinds of training. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all. It covers a whole spectrum. You've got your basic obedience training, sit, stay, come, heel. The essentials for smooth daily life.
Foundations.
Right. Then there's behavioral training, which is more about tackling specific issues like jumping up on people or maybe resource guarding.
And house training, of course. That's a big one for puppies and kittens.
Huge. And crate training, too. The guide presents the crate not as a cage, but as a potential safe den when introduced properly.
Yeah, I know some people feel unsure about crates, but the guide makes a good case for them as a tool.
It does. And then leash training. vital for dog walks.
Yeah.
But it also covers the fun stuff, trick training, which is great for mental exercise.
And just fun bonding time.
Totally. And agility training for those really active pets who need a physical and mental challenge.
The guide also mentioned clicker training. I've heard of it, but how does it work exactly?
So the clicker is basically a marker signal. That sharp click sound tells the pet the exact instant they did the right thing.
Ah, okay. More precise than just saying, good dog.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Because the sound is consistent, unique, and it always predicts a reward is coming immediately after. It cuts through any verbal confusion.
Interesting. Okay, before we get into the how-to of commands, what about tools? The guide lists some essentials.
Right. You definitely need a good leash and a properly fitting collar or harness. That's non-negotiable for safety and control.
Makes sense.
A crate, if you're doing crate training. A clicker, if you're using that method. And, of course, treats.
Ah, yes, the motivator.
The guide had specific advice on treats, didn't it?
It did. Small, soft, easy to swallow quickly, and really high value to your pet. Something they really want to work for. You don't want them spending ages chewing when you're trying to do rapid repetitions. Good tip. Anything else tool-wise?
Let's see. The guide mentions target sticks useful for guiding without pushing or pulling. Training mats or pads can help to find a place. And never forget toys. Toys can be powerful rewards, too.
Okay, let's get practical. How does the guide suggest teaching sit? Step by step.
Okay, so you take a treat, hold it right near your pet's nose. Then you move your hand upwards in an arc, kind of over their head towards their tail.
So their nose follows the treat up.
Exactly. And as their head goes up, their rear end naturally tends to go down. The second their bottom hits the floor, you say, sit clearly, and pop the treat in their mouth, and praise.
Simple, visual, I like it. What about stay? That one feels trickier.
It requires building duration and distance slowly. The guide says, first, ask for a sit, then show them an open palm, like a stop signal, and say, stay calmly.
Okay.
Take just one small step back. If they stay sitting, step right back to them immediately and reward. Don't push it too fast. Gradually, you increase how many steps back you take and how long you wait before returning to reward. Little increments.
Patience is key there.
Absolutely. And for come. That recall command is vital.
So important for safety.
Right. Start with them on a leash. Get down low. Crouching makes you less intimidating, more inviting. Say their name, then come, in a really happy, encouraging voice.
Make it sound like fun.
Exactly. You can gently guide them in with the leash as you back up a step or two. When they get to you, big party. Lots of praise, treats. Make coming to you the best thing ever.
Positive association again. And down.
Similar lure technique. Treat near the nose. Then lower your hand straight down towards the floor, maybe pulling it slightly away from them along the floor.
Ah, so they follow it down into a lying position.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
The moment their elbows and belly touch the floor, say down, reward immediately.
Great. Really clear instructions. Now, moving on to those big ones. Crate training and house training. The guide has specific tips here.
Yes, very practical stuff. For the crate, the number one rule is make it positive, make it comfy bedding, safe toys, feed them meals in there.
Build that good association.
Crucially, the guide emphasizes, never use the crate for punishment, ever. It needs to be their safe den, their sanctuary, not jail.
That's such a critical point. Okay, and house training. Any golden rules from the guide?
Routine, routine, routine. Feed on a schedule and take them out frequently, especially right after they wake up, after they eat or drink, after playtime, and just before bed.
Be predictable.
And the other golden rule. Immediate, enthusiastic reward, the instant they eliminate in the right spot outside. Catch them doing it right and make a huge fuss.
Don't wait till you get back inside.
No, right then and there. That's how they connect the action with the reward. Consistency and timing again.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what about socialization? The guide really highlights how crucial this is.
It's fundamental for raising a well-adjusted, confident pet. Early, positive exposure to all sorts of things, different people, sights, sounds, other appropriate animals, different environments.
But in a controlled way.
Yes, absolutely. Controlled and positive. You want them to associate these new things with good experiences, like getting treats and praise. This helps prevent fearfulness and aggression down the line.
And when unwanted behaviors do crop up, like, say, puppy nipping or jumping on guests, what's the guide's approach?
First, try to understand why it's happening, if possible. Is it excitement, boredom, fear? Then the focus is on redirection, guiding them towards something they can do. If they jump, teach them to sit for greetings instead. If they nip, redirect them onto an appropriate chew toy. It's about teaching the right behavior, not just saying no. Consistent, gentle correction might be needed sometimes, but always paired with rewarding the alternative correct behavior.
Teach them what you want, not just what you don't want.
Exactly. That's the core principle.
Now, the guide also points out that training isn't the same for every animal. You need to tailor it.
Right. It touches on the different learning styles. Dogs, often being eager to please and intelligent, tend to respond really well to reward-based training and clear cues.
And cats, often seen as untrainable.
A total myth. The guide points out many cats are very food motivated. Clicker training can work wonders for them, litter box training, coming when called, even simple tricks.
I believe it. I've seen videos. What about other pets? Birds? Small mammals?
Birds can learn verbal cues, tricks, step-up commands through repetition and rewards. And even animals like rabbits or guinea pigs can be litter trained, maybe learn to come to their name with patience and gentle handling. It really shows that learning is universal, just the methods might need adjusting.
That's really encouraging. It means there's potential with almost any pet you share your life with.
Absolutely.
Okay, the flip side, mistakes. The guide has a section on common training pitfalls. What should people avoid?
Well, we've hit on inconsistency already. That's a big one. It just confuses the animal.
Right.
Using punishment or harsh methods is another major one the guide warns against. It can create fear, anxiety, break trust, and doesn't teach the right way.
Makes the problem worse, potentially.
Often, yes. Impatience is another human failing. We want results now. But pets learn at their own speed. You have to be patient.
Good reminder. What else?
Skipping or skimping on socialization, especially when they're young, that can lead to fear or reactivity later, and overdoing it with the treats.
Ah, right. Balance is needed.
Yeah, treats are great, but balance them with praise, petting, play. And watch the calories. You don't want to train your pet into being overweight.
Okay, let's bust some myths. The guide tackles a few head on. Number 1, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. True or false?
Definitely false, according to the guide. Absolutely false. Older dogs can learn. They might learn differently, maybe a bit slower. You might need to adjust for physical limitations, but they are absolutely capable.
That's fantastic news for anyone considering adopting a senior pet.
It really is.
Myth 2, punishment is effective.
The guide argues strongly against this. It might stop a behavior in the moment, sure, out of fear, but it doesn't teach the correct behavior. And the fallout fear, anxiety, damaged trust is just not worth it. Positive reinforcement is far more effective long-term.
Okay. And myth 3, cats can't be trained.
Also false. We touched on this. Many cats respond incredibly well to positive reinforcement, especially clicker training. They can learn litter habits, recall, tricks. They're smart and trainable, just perhaps motivated differently than dogs.
Good to set the record straight on those. Now, the guide even looks forward a bit, mentioning technology and training. How is tech helping?
It's interesting. There are training apps now for tracking progress, setting reminders, even giving you lesson plans.
Handy.
Pet cameras let you see what your pet does when you're out. Invaluable for figuring out triggers for, say, separation anxiety or barking.
I can see how that would help.
There are even automatic treat dispensers you can trigger remotely with your phone.
Wow, remote reinforcement.
Exactly. And wearable tech, like activity trackers for pets, can give you insights into their energy levels, their sleep, which can indirectly help tailor your training approach.
Amazing. But even with all this tech and knowledge, sometimes you hit a wall. When does the guide say it's time to call in a professional trainer?
There are some clear signs. Any kind of aggression toward people, other animals, that's an immediate get professional help situation. Look for certified trainers or veterinary behaviorists.
Okay, safety first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, if you just feel completely overwhelmed or you're trying consistently but making zero progress with a specific issue, or if you have specific goals like training a service or therapy animal, you'll need certified programs for that.
So don't be afraid to ask for help if you're stuck or dealing with something serious.
Exactly. A good professional can assess the situation, create a personalized plan, and provide guidance. It can make a world of difference.
So wrapping up our deep dive into the Ultimate Pet Training Guide, what's the big picture message?
I think the core message is that training is so much more than just tricks or commands. It's really about communication.
Building that bridge.
Yes, building that bridge of understanding between you and your pet. It's an investment in your relationship, leading to a happier life for both of you.
And it's achievable, right? It's not about perfection.
Not at all. It's about progress, patience, consistency, and doing it with love and positive methods. The guide really emphasizes that any pet, truly, can learn and benefit from training.
Fantastic. Well, you should now have a really solid grasp of effective, humane pet training, drawing from all the great advice in the Ultimate Pet Training Guide.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, you could think about one small thing, one tiny consistent training step you could start with your own pet today. Something to strengthen that bond, improve that communication, just a little bit.
Yeah.
How does what we talk about maybe change how you see your own journey with your pet?
That's a wonderful thought to leave everyone with. Thanks so much for sharing all these insights.
My pleasure.
And thank you, our listeners, for joining us for this deep dive.